Hi, I'm Michael, and I'm here with Keith, and your company is?
Walking Food Group.
Walking Food, and we're going to be taking a tour downstairs of the factory, and your biggest product right now is?
We make a pasta noodle, which is the only pasta noodle that you can cook, and then you can refrigerate, freeze, stick under a heat lamp, reconstitute, and it'll still stay individual noodles. Making pasta is it's just a regular business. What's really more important to us are the people who work with us. When a worker has been with us for 5 years, they have the option of getting a grant to do one of two things. That would be that we would actually help them get more education to advance themselves, or they can start their own business as long as it doesn't compete with us. And we will provide them with 20% of their first year's pay at the end of that 5th year so they can start doing that. So if we walk through an order, what's going to happen is that we receive this shipment of flour, and we've got those shipments coming in on a very consistent basis. And as we are using what's called durum flour, and this is a form of semolina which is a lot harder and has a lot more protein in it, and it commands a premium. It's only grown in a certain area of the country, and as it turns out, it's actually grown in other places in the world.
Sure.
But here in the United States, we produce the best quality durum wheat.
So once you get that flour, now you got the flour and it's coming from the coat, what do you do next?
So it's going to go into a mixer. We've got a specific formula. So an important thing to know is that our formula is all natural. There are no artificial ingredients, there are no preservatives, there's no need for that. And even though there are no preservatives, a typical well-stored box of our pasta is going to last for at least 5 years, but we've actually tested
5 years, that's crazy. 5 years, that's
5
awesome.
years, well, what about 20 years?
Oh my goodness, 20-year pasta?
So we've actually tested it. We've got 20-year-old pasta, and when you cook it up, you can't tell any difference between pasta that was just boxed up today and pasta that's 20 years old. And from that mixer, it's going to go into this huge machine. That huge machine is called a granola. So it's not something you're going to find anywhere. So as far as we've determined, there are only 5 of these machines that exist in the United States. We actually own all of them.
Oh, that's wonderful. Got a real monopoly on that one.
This is the secret sauce because nobody's manufacturing the machines. You can't find them anymore. Most of them have been scrapped. But this machine is one of the things that makes our noodles and pastas unique. And what that is that the dough actually is compressed over and over and over, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of times under immense pressure, and what comes out is a very high, dense piece of dough. So when we get these big slabs coming out, they've got to be processed. So each slab is about 6 inches thick. And what we're going to do is we're going to put them through these mechanical sheeters. And the job of that sheeter is just to kind of compress it down into a manageable sheet. So as it goes through, the worker is going to make the thickness go down a little bit each time. So it's going to go through the kneader and then into this sheeter. And the sheeter process, they're going to throw it in there about 20 different times. By the time they're done, on the last sheeter that they use, it's going to come out at a little less than 1/4 of an inch thick. And then it drops through a set of cutting wheels that actually turns it into those long pieces of noodles. So you can see that our worker here is actually hanging it by hand. So everything is done in the factory with a lot of human touch.
Now, what's the choice behind that? Because you have mentioned that a few times with the hands on, and a lot of factories today, a lot of, at least the American model is, let's go to more efficiency, more efficient, have the robots, have the computers do it all. Why is it important to have that hands-on every step of the way?
And so restaurants all over the Chicago area actually purchase our pasta specifically because it does what it does. You can't buy pasta that does this anywhere else. We don't accelerate the drying. The drying is all natural, so we bring in fresh air, and the noodles are actually circulated in a lot of fresh air to remove the moisture, and it's not being removed too fast or too slow. It's coming out at just the right pace so that we get a really nice noodle. So the next step is it goes into a sizing cutter. So that sizing cutter, we call it a dry cutter, actually just makes all the noodles a consistent size. So it's kind of frustrating if you're in the restaurant industry and you grab a handful of noodles and each one is kind of a little bit different size. So we're cutting them all to the same size, and they're all packed in boxes for shipment to the final customers.
And Keith, I want to thank you for the wonderful tour of the facility. It's fantastic to learn about how pasta is being made and your vision for the community and your foods. And you have a great tagline to end us with?
Walking foods, foods to make you move.
I love it. Thank you so much, Keith.